Hello, I'm William Target and welcome to episode 3 of the Formula 1 Shame Report. Now maybe it's because we were spoiled a bit in Malaysia with the whole Multi-21 saga, but it felt like there wasn't much shame this week in Shanghai. Even so, we'll do the best I can, and by we I mean me, to shine the white hot light of shame on those who deserve it most. Remember, teams and drivers, don't get angry at me if I call your name out. I didn't do this to you, you did this to you. Let it begin. Let's kick off with the whole Multi-21 saga, mostly because I want to get it out of the bloody way. Now I chose to watch BBC's coverage for the race in China, and they spent 55 minutes of a 1 hour qualifying build-up talking about team orders. I imagine things weren't much different over at Planet Sky. Speaking of whom, shame on Martin Brundle for sticking his microphone in Hulkenberg's face during the grid walk when he was already being interviewed. By David Coulthard! Seriously Martin, it's bad enough that you took half the BBC team with you to Sky. They take their airtime as well? Get your own interviews! And Jane! At number 4, the race stewards. Now in the past, we've had accident and incident-filled races in which they've been kept busy handing out drive-through penalties and the like for naughty drivers. Yet, all they had to do in China was deal with a few cases of the DRS being deployed under yellow flag conditions. Seems simple enough, right? Apparently not. The stewards seemed to say, sod it, we'll do it after the race. But it's not that they had more pressing issues to deal with either, as they waited until after the race to deal with the Webber-Verne incident. Sort it out, you lazy sods. At number 3, Lady Luck, who, judging by the events of this and many other Grand Prix weekends, Mark Webber must have slept with and then never called again. Running out of fuel on track on Saturday meant he was dumped to the back of the grid after an already bad qualifying, and on the race day on Sunday, while fighting his way through the field, he made an admittedly stupid error trying to pass Jean-Eric Vergne. After pitting for a new front wing, he was forced to crawl back to the pits again as his rear wheel was hanging off. Even worse, for everyone's favourite Aussie, is that both incidents happened directly in front of him. And you just know the little sod was chuckling away to himself inside that helmet at his teammate's misfortune. You ever notice how whenever Red Bull have bad luck it always happens to Mark? But what adversity has Vettel had to go through? Apart from his alternator failure in Valencia. And his alternator failure in Italy. And we had to start with the pit lane in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, and when he got out the arse in Brazil when he was driving to win the title. Yeah, I guess Vettel's had some bad luck as well. But back to Mark. You can turn it around. I believe in you. And now for Get Out of Shame 3. While it may have been a very bad weekend for one Australian driver on the grid, it was a much better weekend for the other, Toro Rosso's Daniel Ricciardo, who is far behind my favourite F1 driver. Mostly because he made a basketball reference on Twitter a few months ago, but also because he's becoming a very promising young talent. He out-qualified his car on Saturday to stick it up in 7th, and then translated that in the race, overcoming an early collision to finish where he qualified. Kudos are also in order for McLaren, who finally appear to be turning things round after a shaky start. Well, Jensen does anyway, putting in a good show to finish 5th. Perez, meanwhile, has seemed completely anonymous in the first 3 races. I don't know about you, but I don't think I've even seen him make an overtake in McLaren colours yet. It seems that every time he's on screen he's being passed by a Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes or Lotus. I know he hasn't exactly been given the best car, but he's no longer the plucky midfielder. He's with the big boys now. Show some fight, Sergio. At number 2, the debate about qualifying and tyres reared its head again after large chunks of Saturday's session saw few to no cars out on track. The solution seems simple to me. Pirelli have one of 2 options available to them. One, they could shorten the qualifying session times so that we don't get 8 minutes of tyres before a mad dash to get a lap in, or they could just allow teams one more set of tyres per race weekend, which thankfully they might be doing soon, or at least Susie Perry said so during BBC's coverage. This qualifying complaint has come up a few times now. Come on Pirelli, you've got everything else right, just sort this out now. Well done Jack. And at number 1, you might be surprised to find out, is Sebastian Vettel, who already has got almost as many brown paper bags of shame as he does race helmets. Now, I said that I was done with the whole Multi-21 thing, but Vettel just brought it all roaring back with his comments in the week leading up to the Chinese Grand Prix, where he made a U-turn of epic proportions and said that suddenly, he didn't apologise for stealing Mark's win, and actually, would do it again. First of all, I'm not buying that he didn't understand the call for a second. Is anyone? And second of all, just listen to some of the things he said. I probably would have done the same thing because Mark doesn't deserve that. Bottom line is, I was faster, I passed him, I won. Yes, Seb, we were faster, for 2 reasons. 1, because Mark had turned his engine down, and 2, because you're a conniving little sod. I never had support from his side. I respect Mark as a racing driver, but there was more than one occasion in the past when he could have helped the team and didn't. What Seb is referring to here is Brazil last year, when Mark was a bit reluctant to let Vettel through so he could go for the title. That's one occasion. To paraphrase Sheldon Cooper, someone call the Oxford English Dictionary and tell them that more than one has been redefined to mean one. And what about the times Mark has helped you? It appears Seb has a bit of selective memory. Maintain the gap? Silverstone 2010, the whole front wing business? No? Well, maybe putting your head in the brown paper bag of shame will jog your memory. Shame, Sebastian! We'll see you in Bahrain. That's if we go, you know, politics.